Hi, my name is Fr Brendan Seery and I'm the parish priest here at Our Lady Help of Christians. And today I'd like to talk with you about the importance of ongoing formation, especially for priests. Now, when I was growing up, my mum had an old saying, an old adage that every day is a school day. Now, we might think that after 6 to 8 years of formation, of learning how to be a priest and being ordained, that our education finishes. However, that's not the case. The Church, as we know, is called to proclaim the mercy of God, the salvation that Christ won for us. And it's important, imperative for us to have key people who are able to help in transmitting that message. So, for example, it's important for us to have people who are experts in liturgy, experts in communication, experts in pastoral theology, and experts in canon law. So I'd like to talk to you briefly about canon law because that's what I was asked to pursue as further studies. Now, I'm not going to pretend and say I'm an expert, but I did study canon law at the Catholic University in Leuven. Now, that was a 3-year course which was done distance learning. What does that mean? It gives us the great privilege of not only studying the beauty of canon law, but also remaining in a pastoral context, which reminds us that canon law isn't a distant, sort of abstract, theoretical subject or academic rigor, but rather something to help us as the Church to appreciate and understand the love that God has for us. And I'm always reminded of that final canon, that final law in the Code of Canon Law, the law that governs all of us, and that is the salvation of souls. And essentially that's what canon law does, and that's why it's important for us as a diocese to have people who are experts in the law in order to help us transmit the message of salvation, but also to protect the rights of all the faithful. So with that in mind, as well as completing the studies in canon law, I was also asked to take on the role of Chancellor. That sounds very grand, but what does a Chancellor do? A Chancellor essentially is a sort of a legal advisor who's able to advise the bishop and others on kind of legal or canonical matters. He's able also to ensure that marriage paperwork is done properly and sent off to the appropriate places, writes the letters of appointment for parish priests or assistant parish priests, and help in building up the kingdom of God. And primarily, it's to ensure that the law of the Church is implemented properly. Now, law sometimes has a bad reputation, but again, canon law is here to serve us, to serve each other and serve the most vulnerable. So it's my task as the Chancellor of the Diocese to ensure that the canon law of the Church is used to ensure that all of the faithful come to know and to love Christ. I suppose all of that really is just leading into a huge thank you. What I was able to do, what other priests have been able to do, what future priests hopefully will be able to do, only happens thanks to you. Thanks firstly to your prayers, and thanks also to your generous financial support. It costs money, as we know, to study and to ensure that we have excellent people who are gifted or able to use those studies for the glory of the Church. So I'd also then ask you to continue praying for us, but also to prayerfully consider if we were able to make a financial contribution to help us continue the work of Jesus Christ here in the Diocese of Northampton.